How's it going, YouTube? And welcome back to the grid. And I'm your host, Cardfight Grid. And today we have an exciting V Premium matchup for you guys. We have Thavas on the left and Victor on the right. And it looks like Victor's gonna go second, Thavas is gonna go first. And I hope you guys enjoy. And if you want to see any more content like this, please let me know. And I'll be sure to give you whatever matchups I'm able to, but if you're looking for any particular ones, just leave it down in the comments and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make videos out of it for you guys. So with all that said, let's begin. So it looks like Victor's gonna return 1, so pretty convincing, and then Thavas returned 3, I believe, so that's not looking too good, but let's see. Thavas begins. Goes right to grade 3 searcher. Searching for Thavas. And that's what I noticed about the Thavas deck too. Also, it's just once you have Thavas, you're set, you're good to go. But until then, your whole turns going from 1 to 2 is just literally you're just trying to find Thavas the whole time. And it looks like Victor rides the UFO, grabs a quick shield, and just swings at Vanguard. Checks a cool hang. Thavas damages a penguin. Thavas rides the outlet and looks like he's about to call out. Oh, it does not. Okay, just swings at Vanguard. Victor ends up no to pass, and yeah, goes into cool hank. Tries to pressure Thavas to get that on hit, but Thavas says no, and checks a Victor, and Thavas does not have the grade 3, and he luckily got it from the G assist, so thank goodness, because if he didn't, that would be horrible. And right now he's debating on what he wants to take out. I think he's considering a PG and a crit, or yeah, it's going to be the PG and the crit. Okay, cool. Rides Thavas, goes Excel 2, goes ahead. Okay, calls out 1 grade 1, 1 grade 2, just rest. Rest to retire Thavas. Rest to retire the charger in the bag, and then swings. And wow, didn't really have too much of a good grade 3 turn. Victor on the other hand, riding Victor, getting Excel 2, calling out the grade 1 that I believe it's a Soul Blast to restand one of the rear guards, and he gets plus 4k. Oh, it calls out the sledge, and this is not looking good, and the cool hank, not looking good for Thavas whatsoever. But Thavas is at 0 damage, so it's not too bad. Sledge swings, and Thavas gets a defensive trigger. Must be nice. The kind of Victor has to rearrange. He's gonna go ahead and swing with the cool hank. Doesn't hit. Restands sledge. Sledge swings. Doesn't hit up. Or I believe. Oh, sledge is hitting. And Thavas guards with the Sonic Sailor. Swings with the rear guard to restand the sledge. Yep. Doesn't hit. Swings with sledge again. And it looks like sledge right now is just getting. It's just, I believe he's just trying to probably perform as much as he can, just so he can go ahead and get the triple drive, and he does. And the last drive was actually a crit, so that helps. So he ends up putting it on Vanguard, and then Thavas gets a PG as a defensive trigger, and yeah, wow. Thavas not having really a great first grade 3 turn actually worked out for him, because he ended up defensive triggering a lot, which put Victor into a really rough situation. Now Thavas is gonna go ahead, activate Pursuit Assault, which is amazing to get that draw 1. Then he's gonna go ahead and activate the grade 1 skill to his Soul Blast and to give it plus 10k and restand it. Then he's gonna go ahead and activate the grade 1 to Soul Charge, or to bottom deck a normal unit and Soul Charge 1. He Soul Charges I believe that was a Lambros. And so he's going to go ahead and do it again. And so charges another Lambros. Okay, now this is looking kind of scary for the Thavas player. And he already had one in hand. Not good whatsoever. And so he ends up resting the Lambros for Thavas' skill to retire. And he retires the Sludge. And now he has the 3, or he has 4 now rested rear guard. So when he goes into battle phase, all he needs to do is discard the card. And discard a card to ride Lambros, which he does. And that is his last Lambros, which is really funny because after this, if he doesn't recycle back into his deck, which he can, but if anything happened to those grade 1s in the back row, he'll be in a very tough position. So he goes into Lambros, gets that plus 10k, plus 1 drive, and Pursuit Soul gets a plus 5k for the rearguard circle. Ends up swinging, and Victor damage checks the heal. Man, these assault decks are damage triggering triggers all day. And Lambros goes ahead and swings, restands the column, gives a plus 5k. Triple drive, gets nothing, gets this crit, and he goes ahead and pits it on the rearguard cell circle. And then now it doesn't look too good for him, but let's see if he keeps on pressuring the Vanguard. And yeah, nope. He swings. Oh, guards with a crit. Swings with Excel. Guards with a heal and a crit. And then just takes a Pursuit Soul column. At the end of the turn, goes ahead and rides Thavas again, gets a draw, puts the Vanguard into the soul, draw again, puts another one into the soul, draw again. Thavas gets so many draws. It's actually really nice. Yeah, it's really ridiculous how at the end of the turn you can just, instead of just getting retired, or instead of retiring Vanguards and getting draws off of it, you get two sources of instead you get actually a draw, and you also get a soul charge, which is really nice. Or they go into soul. Victor goes ahead and plays a full field, plays the kick, the 2 grade 1s, plays the grade 1 in the back that I believe gets 10k on a cell circle, and has another Sledge. Goes ahead and gets a plus, I believe, 5k to Sledge. Or yeah, 5k to Sledge from kick's effect. And right now he's swinging with Sledge, and this looks like it could be a scary turn for Thavas. And then Kohang swings at Pursuit Assault, restands the Sledge. Sledge swings again, and Thavas damage checks a trigger. Wow. Okay. And just to let you guys know, the dice represent a each one on the dice represents a 5k value. Swings with the Sledge again because he restood with the kick by counterblasting 1. It looks like Thavas is going to take again. No trigger this time, so Victor feels a little bit better. Goes in and swings with Victor to get that triple drive, so hopefully he gets a crit on Sledge. Restand Sledge. Thavas over here PDGs. And still has a very healthy hand. Gets the crit on Sledge, so that's scary. Now Sledge is going to swing at Thavas. And Thavas is over here, guards with 20k guard, and then swings with the rearguard column to restand the Sledge. And he was able to guard it again, another 20k guard, and now he only has 2 cards in hand. Oh wow. So Thavas would probably have to win this turn. If not, then next turn he's most likely losing. He goes ahead and rests his 2 to Pursuit Assault to get that draw. Then he's going to go ahead and, I think he's contemplating calling it out. But you also need to discard 1 once you go into the battle phase to go into Lambros. So goes ahead and bottom decks a Lambros to soul charge another card. And it's another Pursuit Assault, so that's why he was debating. So now he can actually rest both of them. Pursuit Assault. Oh, he actually just rests his pursues lots of Thavas to retire and rests the Thavas to his own skill. And I believe he's taking it back. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. He ends up doing Pursuit Assault skill instead to get the draw one because he realized he needs the draw to go into Lambros on the turn. And then goes into Battle Phase, discards the Penguin to go into Lambros, freestands the whole board. And now each Pursuit Assault is plus 10k each because he has 2 Excel markers. And everything else should be base except for Lambros with a plus 10k in drive. And then he swings with 27. And then Victor Guard swings with Lambros. Checks a heal, which is going to be nice. And then he ends up putting the trigger onto Thavas. And then checks a crit. And then pits everything to Thavas. And yeah, that was game 1, ladies and gentlemen. And looks like Victor's gonna go first. Pits 3 back, and Thavas is gonna put 3 back as well. Like I said, when you're playing with Thavas, your main thing is just to get Thavas. Once you have them, everything else is smooth sailing. No pun intended. Victor rides grade 1, just draws, and then Thavas rides, gets the quick shield, swings at Victor, and does no pass. Okay, and Thavas ends up getting a heal, which is going to be nice on his grade 2 turn. And Victor just rides into Cool Hank, plays a grade 3 Searcher, doesn't get anything. Swings with Cool Hank, says no pass. Cool Hank has an on-hit draw. And now it's Thavas riding Pursuit Assault. And Thavas is full with grade 2s in hand, so he goes ahead and calls a Pursuit Assault. And another grade 2 arrests them, gets a draw, and dry checks the Thavas. And that's a lifesaver right there. Because if he did not do that, then he would have damage checked that Thavas, and then he would have to G-assist again. And Victor, okay, rides Victor, go ahead and gets the... uses Victor's skill and gets the draw from the Excel circle, and then uses Victor's on ride skill to go ahead and search for Extreme Battler. Gets a grade 3 Searcher. And I believe right here he thought that the grade 3 Searcher procs off, but it doesn't. It's only from hand. All grade 3 Searchers say on play from hand, you can go ahead and search the top 5 for grade 3. Has the grade 1 to restand a rear guard, and has the Sazanda. And then right here he calls out the Cool Hank. Thavas checking out the Soul. And he guards with the quick shield on the Cool Hank, which could be good, could be bad. I think he's just saving that heal guardian to be a 25k guard when he guards with it, even though right now he'll guard with it and just get the passive plus 10k. It's not really seeing much worth of it since you're over guarding so much. So right now he swings with the grade 1, restands Cool Hank. Sazanda gets plus 5k, and so does Cool Hank, which is really nice. And now Cool Hank's gonna swing, restands the grade 1. Now Sazanda gets a 5k, and so does the grade 1. And Sazanda's just giving power everywhere, which is really nice. And Thavas got a damage trigger. Oh my gosh. Okay, so plus 20k, 29k. So it's 29k Vanguard on grade 2. And Thavas discards with a crit. And Victor restands the grade 1 and then goes ahead and gets a plus 5k to grade 1 and 5k to Sazanda. Gets a triple drive, hits a PG, gives a plus 10k to Sazanda. And Thavas ends up healing and is now a ridiculous fat number, which is Sazanda swings. He does guards with a regular heal. He had 2 heal guardians, which must be nice. And Thavas goes into grade 3 Thavas. Rides, gets excels, gets excel 2, draws, gets allayed. Rests for Pursuit Assault to get that draw, which comes in handy so much. And it looks like he only has 1 soul left, so he's probably going to save that for Lambros' skill, because Lambros' Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1 to restand a column, and to give it plus 5k if your opponent's at grade 3. Goes ahead and rests his Pursuit Assault for its own skill, rests the Rear Guard for Thavas' skill, return the Sazanda, and goes ahead and discards Lambros to go into Lambros. So man, he already has 2 Lambroses out of deck. Restands the whole board. Gives plus 5k to the allied, and then now he's probably going to swing with the Pursuit Soul column, yeah. Which he does. And that looks like it's going to be 22. Because I don't believe the grade 1 behind got the plus 10k. I think he was running out of soul by that time. So it's, yeah, 15k shield, swings with Lambros. It has plus 10k in drive. Restands a Pursuit Soul column, give it plus 5k to each of those units. Swings, no guards. Hits the PG, debating about where he wants to put it. Pits it on the allied, and that is it. And Victor damage checks a PG as well. Swings with the allied, and I believe it's a 29k to rear, because Victor is at 32, which is pretty crazy. Or not 32, is at 12, is at 22. And then Pursuit Assault swings at the other rear guard, and then at the end of the turn, I believe the Thavas player realizes that he only can put one of his rear guards into soul to draw a card. Goes ahead and rides the Thavas back, and then I believe he remembers that he actually misplayed with the Abigail and actually didn't get her restand effect, because I believe with her you swing with her first, and then when the Vanguard swings, then you can restand her. And so he totally missed out on that effect. And Victor goes ahead and calls out the grade 1 that gets plus 10k on a additional rear guard circle. And that is it. Oh wow, Victor just has a fat hand but no good rear guards. So he's just swinging for 23, I believe, and then goes ahead and Thavas' guards, swings with Victor, restands the rear guard. Each one of the grade 3 searchers gets plus 5k, and he ends up guards the grade 3 searcher. And yep, guards the last attack with a crit. And now Thavas is back to his turn and calls out another Adelaide, rests her. Hopefully he remembers his skill this time, realizing that he doesn't have too much soul. So he goes ahead and plays the grade 3 searcher, doesn't get anything off of it. And I like the grade 3 searcher and Thavas doesn't really get the plus 5k. It can sometimes, and wow, that's a full board of Lambros. So it looks like Thavas is not even going to Lambros this turn, which is pretty bad. Yeah, I think he's out of Lambros now. So he needs to find a way to pit Lambros back into the deck, but at the meantime, it looks like he's just going to swing with the rear guard column for 23, I believe. Well, this is not looking too good for Thavas. And especially Thavas is not going to really be able to put on so much pressure, and Victor has a fat hand right now. He takes the damage because he's probably gonna need the counter blast for Victor's effect. Swing with LA, blocks with the kick, swings with Thavas, and he ends up gaining a crit, which is really nice. Puts the trigger onto Lambros, and ends up being 2 damage. Swings with the Lambros for, I believe, 20-30. PG's the Lambros. Wow, okay. Then swings with the Pursuit Assault Column and guards that too as well. So even though Thavas is at not really applying too much pressure, Victor's at 5 damage still, so it's not looking too bad. Go ahead and plays a kick, and then plays gives a plus 5k to the rear guard and additional rear guard. Does a grade 3 search, doesn't get anything off of that. He has a full back row of grade 3 searchers, so those are all going to get plus 5k soon. Has another kick and a sledge. Okay. It's pretty weird, but the kick wouldn't be able to give a plus 5k to the rear guard if it wasn't for him being on Excel Circle. Thavas damage checks a trigger, which is I don't know if you want to call that fair or not, but yeah. Well, technically he didn't even go into Lambros the turn before, so it's not, I guess, totally unfair. Kick goes ahead and, oh no, the grade 1 swings Thavas, then damage and kick restands. The grade 1 swinging again. And then now Victor is swinging. Since it's our turn now, Victor should get the triple drive now. Thavas is intercepting. And also guarding with a heal. And Victor gets a heal himself, which is pretty nice. And a crit. So that ends up pinning it all on Victor, and then Victor took the game. And that's another thing you really have to consider in these matchups. You know, if you have no Lambros in your deck, then you can't really go into Lambros. So getting into whatever you get into Thavas and having Lambros' deck is the most important. Thavas goes into his grade 1, gets nothing from the search, and Victor is swinging with the grade 1 and gets guarded with a no pass. And looks like, okay, he rides Dennis, or he's gonna ride Allied. Believe so. Calls a Pursuit Assault. Calls another outgoing Pursuit Assault skill to get the draw. It looks like his hands flood with grade 2s, and I do not see a Thavas in there. That does not look good whatsoever. Swings. And Victor hits a no guard, which is smart because Thavas actually drove checked a crit. Rides into a cool hang, does a grade 3 search, doesn't get anything from the grade 3 searcher. Swings with the cool hank. And looks like he's just gonna no guard and takes 2 damage. One's gonna be the PG and the other one is a Thavas, so that has to hurt. And is Thavas going to G assist, or oh, he's not. He's just gonna stay on grade 2. Rest 2 rear guards, pursue assault's effect to go ahead and draw. Use the grade 1 skill to go ahead and put the card back into the bottom deck to soul charge. Swings with grade 1, and it looks like Victor didn't have the grade 3, but ends up finding it with the G assist. Has 3 kicks, 2 PGs, 3 crits, and the quick shield. So it takes off the quick shield and the kick. And yeah, it doesn't look too good for him either. Even though he found his grade 3, he doesn't really have the optimal units to go ahead and have a great offensive turn. So that's the one thing about Victor right there. You really need a unit to pit onto that Excel circle to go ahead and start restanding. Even not, you just still need a board to have units to be able to restand that one rear guard that you want to focus on. Swings with the kick, then swings with Victor. Thavas gets a damage check, and then Thavas goes ahead and heal guards, and then yeah, Thavas survives and doesn't even take a damage, which is really nice. It rides a Pursuit Assault and still doesn't G-assist. And he has 2 Hill Guardians there. He goes ahead and uses the Pursuit Assault skill to draw a card. Uses grade 1 to restand itself to Soul Blast to give it plus 10k. Uses the grade 1 behind Vanguard to go ahead and Soul Charge and Bomb Deck a card. And even though Thavas is still at grade 2 in this game, he is still not... Oh, ends up damage checking a trigger. Or drive checks a crit trigger and hits the rear guard. And then pits everything on the rear guard circle and then swings at Thavas. And then ends up hitting the grade 1 soul to draw a card. And Thavas found the sledge, which is not looking good. And found the charger, which can counter charge for him. And then it looks like Thavas had a bunch of grade 2s in hand, which I think he just thought that it would just be more optimal not to just G-assist. Sledge swings, Thavas ends up damage checking a trigger again. Okay, so besides Thavas being super unlucky with his rides, he's super lucky on his damaging. And the sledge swung because of the UFO, or the saucer. So kick swings, restands the sledge. Sledge swings again with plus 10k, so it's swinging for 24 now, I believe. And I think the office is just contemplating right here what the attack pattern's going to be, but he guards with a crit. And Victor swings, going to get the triple drive because he's restanding the sledge. And I believe Thavas had another Heal Guardian. I believe he's just going to give an extra plus 10k to his Vanguard. So now it's going to be a 29 plus the 15. So 44. And Victor's contemplating where he's going to put the trigger. And he's going to put it on Sledge, which is a smart move. I believe it was a 2 to pass. And he ended up putting everything on the Sledge, which is swinging with the crit, which is really scary. But actually, Thavas had another Hero Guardian and draws into a Thavas finally and rides it, gets Excel 2, draws. So it looks like Thavas actually stayed on grade 2 just because he just didn't want to G guard away or G assist away the Heal Guardians. So it was, even though it was weird staying at grade 2, you can still have an optimal turn without losing 2 cards from your hand. And right now he's using the Pursuit Assault effect to go ahead and get the draw. And calls out grade 2. Uses Thavas' skill to rest to retire. Uses grade 1 to bomb deck soul charge. He's going to get a lot of soul here, which is really nice. And ends up calling over the Dennis in the background to go ahead and use Pursuit Assault skill again to Soul Blast to draw. So he's just going through his deck, getting as many draws as he wants. Discards a Dennis to go into Lambros. And restands all of his rear guards. Gets a plus 10k. Pursuit Assaults get plus 5k. Pursuit Assaults swinging for 22 to Victor. Guards with the crit and then swinging with Lambros. Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1 to restand the Pursuit Assault column. Give it plus 10k or 5k each rear guard. Swing drive checks, hits no triggers except for PG. Gives it all to the grade 2. Damage checks, no trigger. Swings with Dennis for 14. He intercepts with kick. And right now, I believe he's trying to see which one is going to be higher and swing with the weaker one. And they're both the same guard. So he ends up swinging with one. Damage checking to Victor and then swings with the other one and guards it with 2 crits. Alright, gets a draw off of the grade 2 that goes into soul and gets a draw off of rewriting Thavas. So Thavas has a pretty decent hand, 3 damage, so not too bad. As long as Victor doesn't call another sledge, or yeah, as long as he doesn't call another sledge and then gets a crit on it to go ahead and get the restanding shenanigans going on, I think Thavas should be safe. And he gets a sledge and a Sazanda, which is even worse than what I was thinking. Okay, he ends up calling out a grade 3 surgery, gets nothing off of that, has a grade 1 to restand, swings with the sledge, intercepts, swings with the grade 1 to restand the sledge. Sledge gets plus 10k from zone, 5k from Sazanda. Sazanda gets plus 5k, and the grade 3 searchers get plus 5k as well. Swings with the saucer column just to hit the intercept. Swings with sledge again. And this is going to be kind of scary. I think Thavas is trying to calculate how much is Sazanda's going to be. Since Sazanda's going to get another plus 5k, ends up damaging a grade 1. So no defensive triggers, finally. Victor swings, activates his skill, restands the sledge. Sledge gets another plus 5k because of Sazanda. Sazanda gets another plus 5k. He ends up PGing the Victor attack because he won't be able to PG the sledge attack. Victor gets a heal. And he's going to give power to Sazanda. Damage check Sazanda. Gets a PG2 off of that and pits it on sledge. Swings with Sazanda for 34. That's a pretty big boy. That's a really nice non-focused rear guard attack. And then swings with sledge, and sledge does not actually have the sentinel restrict, which is really nice because he only restood twice. And then now it's Thavas' turn. Gets the allied rest. Gets 2 pursuit assault, or has pursuit assault. Uses one of their skills to soul blast to draw. Rest is a grade 1 to go ahead and bottom deck a rear guard or a normal unit, which is going to be itself, I believe he's thinking, or he actually is going to do a pursuit assault instead. So charges a grade 1. And then right now I believe he's trying to calculate how much soul he has. Goes ahead and uses an allied again, which is really nice because he has so much counterblast. He has 4 counterblasts, so he can actually do 2 of them this turn. Oh, and then the penguin's going to countercharge if he wants to. And so he realizes that Adelaide's actually yet to rest her and another regard, so he ends up doing that. Luckily he didn't use the effect the whole match, so he ends up doing that with the penguin and with the grade 1 in the back. Discards a Lambros to go into Lambros, restands the whole board. Allies gets plus 5k each every time they restand, which is really nice. And I believe Victor's just making sure, checking out that everything's doing what it's supposed to do, at least the allies. And right now he swings with the ally first for 19, swings for another one for 19, which is fine. They're both 10k guards. He intercepts with Sazanda and discards and guards with 1 2. Swings with the pursuit assault column with the penguin, which is just going to be a 27k guard. Gets a heal but does not heal, but he gets the power at least. Swings with another pursuit assault, and then he countercharges because of penguin. Swings with Lambros, goes ahead and counterblast 1, soul blast 1 to restand the pursuit assault column, and I believe the allies get to restand at the end of the attack. Goes ahead and PGs. Ally grade 1 and Thavas, so no triggers whatsoever. But then counterblast is 1 each for the allies, and they get plus 5k each because they restood again. It's now once per turn skill. So now they're swinging for 24, I believe. And that is it. And that is the match. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, Victor had the last heal in hand, that's why. And hope you guys enjoy. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if there's any other matches that you want me to record, or if you want to see any of these decks go against any other certain decks, or any deck profiles of these decks. Please let me know. I can do I have multiple decks on hand, so whatever you guys are feeling, please let me know. And I appreciate you guys always. And like, comment, subscribe. Thanks. Until I see you next time. Peace.